Hey everyone, this is your favorite storyteller coming straight from the bustling streets of New York City, where the lights never dim and the stories hit different at 2 a.m. when the city is still awake, just like my mind after reading tales like this one. Sitting here in my tiny apartment with the sound of sirens outside, I can't help but smile because stories about invisible girls and powerful kings who see them anyway feel so real even in 2026. If you're watching from your couch or subway ride right now and you've ever felt like nobody notices the real you, this one's gonna wrap around your heart and not let go. I should not have been there at all. The mating ritual was sacred, something only the chosen ones could touch, and I was nothing more than a servant girl hidden among the thick, misty trees. But that night, as King Ronan walked among the women, guided by pure instinct, something impossible happened. He stopped dead, drew in a slow breath, and caught a scent that had no right to be there. His golden eyes cut through the dark straight to mine, and the next second I was already sprinting through the forest like my life depended on it. What I never expected was that the Alpha King himself would abandon the entire ritual and chase me. Why would the most powerful ruler in Shadowvale leave everything behind for a nameless servant like me? What was it about me that made an alpha's instinct shake in front of the whole pack? As I crashed between the trees, one question kept pounding in my head. Why is the Alpha King hunting me? And the answer could change the fate of the entire kingdom. The moon sat high, right in the center of the sky, when I realized I had made the greatest mistake of my life. I was tucked among the trees only yards from the sacred clearing, and my heart pounded so loud I swear it might give me away all by itself. The heat from the bonfires rolled over me in uneven waves, and the drums rose and fell like a living, breathing thing, something I had never felt inside the cold stone walls of Lady Seraphina's castle. Why did I come here? It had started the night before in the small, stuffy room I shared with 3 other maids. The talk began the way it always did when the wine ran out and sleep refused to show up, with Mira describing what her grandmother once said about the night of the silver moon. Once a year, Mira said in that voice she used when she knew she was about to drop something big. On the first full moon of spring, the entire pack gathers in a clearing deep in the misty forest, bonfires at the four corners, drums beating all night. And in the center, the Alpha enters. For what I asked, even though I already knew the question was a trap. Mira smiled. To choose. The silence after that was on purpose. Mira had a gift for making you wait. They say on that night the wolf takes over, she continued slower now. The moon does something to them, awakens something ancient the human side keeps locked away the rest of the year. And then, the Alpha walks among the women who volunteer to stand in the circle, sensing the air, choosing by pure instinct. She paused. It isn't the man who decides, it's the wolf. And the women accept that, I asked. For many, it's an honor their families get the blessing of the pack prosperity protection. Mira shrugged. For others, it's the hope of destiny finding them. It depends what you believe. Lila, who had been listening quietly with her knees pulled to her chest in the corner, spoke softly. My grandmother says it's forbidden to watch, only those inside the ritual are allowed in the clearing. That afternoon, we had turned it into a silly competition who could fill the most water buckets from the well before the dinner bell. The loser would have to sneak into the forest, spy on the silver moon ritual, and come back to tell everything. Well then, Mira turned to me with a smile that already knew how it would end. I had accepted the challenge with the careless confidence of someone who thought she would win easy. I did not win. And there I was. The clearing was exactly like Mira described, yet completely different, bigger, quieter than it looked from far away, despite the drums. As if the air around those ancient stones carried a weight that silenced every small thought. The bonfires were huge, 4 of them casting golden, unsteady light full of shadows dancing at the forest edge. The whole pack was there, hundreds wrapped in the rhythm of the drums. I understood now what Mira tried to explain. It was not just a ritual. There was a gravity in that space. I could feel it in my bones, something between reverence and danger, between the sacred and the wild. And in the center stood him. I had never seen King Ronan of Shadowvale before. I had heard the maids whisper about him whenever Lady Seraphina was not around. Too tall to be normal hair, like golden wheat at the end of summer, eyes that could change color. But none of those words prepared me for the real thing. At that moment, his back was to me as he walked slowly before the young women lined up in the circle. His body was large, broad shoulders, skin glistening faintly with ritual sweat, not the ugly kind from hard labor I knew too well, but something different, as if the heat of the bonfires had entered him and stayed. His golden hair tied at the nape, every step slow and deliberate, the stride of a man who never hurried because the world waited for his command. It isn't the man who decides, it's the wolf. Mira's words came back at the worst moment. I pushed them away. The drums struck 3 times louder than before. Instinctively, I pressed harder against the nearest tree trunk. Leave now. But my feet refused. He stopped. It was abrupt, as if an invisible hand yanked him still. His whole body tensed, shoulders rising, spine straightening, head tilting like an animal tasting the air. My heart stopped. He cannot see me. I'm hidden. There's no way. Then he turned his head slowly, as if he knew exactly where to look. His eyes found mine through the distance and the dark, and they glowed. It was not a metaphor. It was real. A fierce golden light cutting straight through the yards, as if no trees, no night, and no absurdity of a servant hiding at the edge of a ceremony she had no right to witness. I turned and ran. I ran without direction, arms up, shielding my face from whipping branches, wet leaves slapping my legs. The bonfires fell behind, the drums faded. The moon stayed huge and white above the canopy, watching every step with an attention that made my nerves worse. Stupid, stupid, stupid. Behind me, the clearing exploded with voices. Ronan had taken 2 steps toward the forest, when the ceremonial guards stepped in front. 4 of them, the best warriors chosen to protect the ritual. None wanted to restrain their king, but law was law and the ritual older than all of them. "Your Majesty," the oldest guard, said, hand raised, voice steady but strained. "The ritual is not complete. Move aside. The law of the pack. Move aside." Ronan's voice had changed, deeper, heavier, carrying authority that rose from somewhere below, words above instinct. The pack stepped back half a pace without thinking, bodies reacting before minds caught up. But the guards held. Ronan pushed forward the nearest guard, grabbed his arm, and what happened next was too fast to see clearly. A low growl, not from the throat, but deep in the chest, something not fully human. Ronan's eyes flared gold, brighter, unstable. His wolf was awake and furious. The pack retreated further, even elders stepped back. Ronan tried again. 2 guards held his arms, the effort showing on their faces they were not holding a man, but something bigger pressing against every limit, like water against a dam. His body trembled, muscles tightening unnaturally. An alpha does not abandon the ritual. The law existed since the beginning, but instinct is older. The growl came again, and this time a tremor ran through his hands, fingers curling differently for a moment. Ronan closed his eyes, took deep breaths, once, twice, 3 times, fighting something that refused to stay contained. When he opened his eyes, the decision was made. It was not graceful, it rarely is. Transformation is surrender. And when Ronan surrendered, what slipped from the guard's grasp was no longer the man, it was a massive wolf-pale coat, almost golden in the firelight, eyes burning amber. The guards stepped back, the pack parted, and the wolf vanished into the forest. I was still running, the only sound my own breath in cold clouds and the thud of my feet on damp earth. The forest closed dark and thick roots I could not see at the speed I moved. My right foot hit something solid under the leaves. The world spun. No time to react, the ground vanished and I tumbled forward, arms flailing. The slope dropped sudden, invisible in the dark, and I rolled sideways down it, grabbing at nothing, branches, roots, soil slick with wet leaves and moss. The fall was fast, chaotic, each impact replaced by another before I could feel the last. A branch ripped my sleeve, my shoulder slammed a rock, the world flipped, then my whole left side crashed into a thick oak trunk, knocking all air from my lungs. I lay on my side on cold earth, trying to breathe and failing, eyes wide, mouth open, no sound. It took seconds. The air came back in a painful gasp, and with it all the pain, shoulder, ribs, knees, palms scraped raw. "You need to get up," I told myself, but the world spun again. I gave up for a moment, cheek pressed to cold leaves, breathing shallow because deep breaths hurt. I stayed like that time I could not measure until dizziness eased enough to sit. When I finally sat, the moon had dropped lower, and I had no idea which way led back to the castle. Wonderful, I tried to laugh, but my ribs said no. When the wolf reached where I had been, the trail was everywhere, scattered. Leaves churned earth, the whole slope marked by my chaotic fall, and the scent that interrupted the oldest ritual soaked into everything, mixed with soil and moss. Spread so wide, it pointed nowhere. Ronan scented the air for a long time. Nothing. The trail vanished. He stood motionless in the slope, still carrying the weight of the shift, the dull ache in bones, and beneath it something harder, an absence that hurt like a presence, the pain a wolf feels when separated from what it claimed before the mind. Could agree. Who are you? The wind carried only forest scent. Ronan walked back to the castle on foot in human form, Wolf still restless inside, refusing defeat. The ache was constant, the urge to turn back did not fade until the castle appeared. I returned to Lady Seraphina's castle the night after the ritual, sneaking through the back, climbing the servants' stairs, quietly finding the room still lit. The candle by Mira's bed burned, meaning they waited. I stopped in the doorway. You disappeared, we thought you had. Mira sat on the bed edge with that look that said a good story was coming. What happened? I tossed my damp shawl and started removing mud-caked shoes. I left early. I got scared of the guards. Early Leela leaned forward. You were gone a whole day. I tripped on the slope near the clearing. I fell, hit my shoulder, got lost coming back. How did you fall? I didn't see the path in the dark. I dropped a shoe harder than intended. My rib still hurts. Mira frowned, looking at the torn sleeve and mud to my knee. Are you okay? I'm fine. A lie. I did not know if I was fine. My heart still raced, and every time I closed my eyes, I saw those golden eyes. Lila broke the silence. People are talking. My grandmother never saw anything like it. I stopped with the shoe. Seen what? The Alpha King abandoning the ritual. Lila looked at me. He stood in the center. Everything stopped. He tried to leave twice. Guards held him. My grandmother said no Alpha ever did that. The ritual is never abandoned. The room went quiet. And then he shifted, Lila said softer. Right in front of everyone he ran into the forest as if the world vanished. Mira scoffed, probably some animal. My grandmother says no, she says he sensed someone outside the circle. Lila looked at me with pure curiosity. Could it have been you? My heart thudded hard. Of course not, I said, voice drier than I meant. I'm just a human servant. They laughed, the kind of laugh that is relief, not humor, because the idea was too absurd. Lila, still smiling with that genuine sweetness, said, But if you ever become queen, will you choose me as lady-in-waiting? They laughed. It was a joke, but something in Lila's voice was not entirely joke. There was tenderness, I recognized. I looked at her. Unfortunately, I'm nobody this time. The dryness gone, only truth. But I will always take care of you. Lila smiled, real. I blew out the candle, lay down with mud still on my knees, staring at the dark ceiling a long time. The silence of the night and the stubborn memory of golden eyes that found mine as if they knew exactly where to look. I stayed like that, thoughts racing, heart slow to calm, as if part of me still lost in that forest. Little by little, exhaustion won my body, sank eyelids heavy when sleep came. It was deep, and the dream followed fast. Suddenly, I was in the forest again. No bonfires, no drums, no crowd. Only the moon, silver light painting cold shadows. And him a few yards away back to me. Same tall frame, broad shoulders, hair in loose knot, skin warm even in moonlight. I held my breath. I knew I should leave, but I did not. Some deeper part decided to stay. He turned slowly, slower than in the clearing, as if he already knew I was there, and this time I would not run. Those golden eyes found mine, the world shrank. He walked each step silent. I did not back away. I could not. When he stopped, he was too close, heat of his body in the cold air. I had to tilt my face up, exposing my throat. His eyes dropped there, he noticed. The silence had weight too full. His hand rose slowly. I felt every second. Fingers touched my chin, lightest touch, but shiver down my spine. I held my breath. So it was you, he said, voice low, deep, quiet, certainty tightening my stomach. I felt you in the forest. Fingers still under my chin, lifting my face. You ran from me. I tried. I didn't voice, failed those golden eyes too close, watching every reaction. You stayed hidden, watching his thumb moved slightly. Why? I swallowed. I wasn't supposed to be there. He tilted his head, almost curious you weren't, but the way he said it was not rebuke, something slower, more dangerous. His gaze dropped to my throat, lingered, heat rose in my chest. Do you have any idea what you did appearing in that clearing? I blinked. I didn't do anything. Small smile at his mouth. No, he stepped closer, no space left. Heat surrounded me completely. My wolf stopped the entire ritual. My heart thudded hard, tried to go after you, hand still holding my chin. That does not happen. His warm breath touched my face. I didn't mean to, I know. Voice dropped lower, yet it happened. Golden eyes locked intense. Now I want to understand why. Thumb slid along my jaw, shiver again. What are you, little intruder? The nickname like murmur. Something tightened inside. I'm nobody. He went still then, quiet breath, almost laugh. No eyes darkened. You are definitely not nobody. Hand slid from chin to throat, not squeezing, just resting, warm, heavy, my heart ready to leap. I felt you, he murmured, face very close even when I could not see you, tilted head measuring distance, and now that I found you, warm breath brushed my lips. Do you really think you'll run again? The world stopped, my body answered before mind. My sentence never ended because the dream shattered. I woke with a start, heart-racing breath, short room dark, others asleep. I stayed still, heat still on skin, memory of touch at my throat as if real. I ran hand across forehead, confused. What was that? I lay back, eyes on dark ceiling. This is ridiculous, but it took far longer for my heart to calm, and even longer to sleep again. The council meeting happened the following morning at the castle in Shadowvale, leagues away. Ronan entered without announcement, counselors already around the long oak table, faces mixed concern and caution. He sat, did not wait, speak. Eldest Counselor Eldrick folded hands. Your Majesty, what happened at the ritual was without precedent. It happened because my wolf recognized another woman. Ronan had no patience for careful words, a woman not standing in the ritual circle. Silence had weight, recognized, Eldrick repeated deliberately. In the sense the ritual was interrupted because my wolf refused to continue. Ronan looked at each. That is what happened, that is what I say. Counselors exchanged glances, Your Majesty. Another, Kale, leaned forward. The agreement with Lady Seraphina existed before the ritual terms clear. Regardless of the silver moon, the alliance would be confirmed, the wedding here in Shadowvale. Kingdoms waiting. I know what was agreed then, you understand, canceling this union. I know what needs to be done. Ronan's voice never rose, never needed. I will go to Lady Seraphina's castle myself. I will break the agreement. Eldrick parted lips. With respect, Your Majesty, even if dissolved. If you cannot identify the woman, I will find her. You do not know who she is. My wolf knows her scent. Ronan stood. She was close enough. I felt her among hundreds. That is not coincidence. The council silent inside, only inside because Ronan never let Wolf steer politics. There was steady fury every time someone suggested the agreement weighed more than the clearing. The wolf understood neither agreements, nor treaties, nor delicate balances. The wolf understood only there was a woman she ran, and he needed to find her. The man could control it for now. I'm going to Lady Seraphina's castle, Ronan said, straightening clothes, ending the conversation without permission. I will dissolve the agreement. I will return free to search for the one I need. Any objections? No one answered. Ronan stepped into the corridor alone, moment before guards caught up, stopped, took deep breath, ache in bones, eased with little sleep, but still there, dull, constant urge to find her, not eased at all. 2 days later, riders of Shadowvale appeared on the stone road to Lady Seraphina's castle. I was kneeling beside the fountain, scrubbing stones with worn rag bucket of dirty water, when the chill ran through me before horses, before announcement, before anything, only shiver up spine, air changed weight. What was that? I kept scrubbing, eyes on stones. I heard hooves, Clatterguard's voice with pomp reserved for important visitors, Alpha King Ronan of Shadowvale. I lifted eyes, involuntary, and found the golden eyes from the forest clearing. My hand let go. Bucket dirty. Water spread, dark stained silence. So complete I thought everyone looked at me. No. Face burned, I lowered eyes, quickly reached for bucket. Tried to move like small, meaningless mistake. Make myself invisible with years of service skill. But when I looked again, only second, he had stopped walking. Stood in middle courtyard between riders and main staircase where Lady Seraphina waited. Practiced smile stood completely still. Eyes found mine. Same precision. No hesitation. No doubt. As if I was the only person there. Your Majesty, Lady Seraphina's voice drifted down like cold silk. What an honor. The king looked away, only instant inclined head. Lady Seraphina. His voice deep, low, honor is mine. But as he started up steps, cast one last glance over shoulder at me. I know exactly who you are, he said. Not loud. Only for me, strange, steady. Certainty, like confirming something already known, then climbed, and disappeared into castle. I stood motionless. 3 seconds. Felt like 3 years. Grabbed empty bucket. Got up, left as fast as I could. I slipped through, back pressed against cold stones, dark corridor, heart pounding far too hard. What was that? That night, I dreamed of him again. The dining hall in Lady Seraphina's castle was the most beautiful I knew, and I knew every corner. Yet it always looked different for important guests. High ceiling, lost in golden shadows from candle chandeliers, light trembling on stone, walls and long dark oak table. I stood near sideboard wine pitcher, in hands beside two other maids. Good position to watch without being watched. Worked hard to look exactly like expected part of setting invisible. That worked until Ronan entered last. Lady Seraphina already seated head of table, elegant conversation softened not because asked, but because his presence rearranged space naturally. Ronan walked unhurried ease, speaking low with one from his retinue, broke off only when reached chair, at Lady Seraphina's right seat of honor. Before sitting, eyes swept hall, stopped on me. Who would have thought I'd find you here? Silent thought with dangerous calm. I did not even have to look for you. Then looked away as if nothing settled into chair. Let conversation resume, though. Part of him stayed alert to the servant by sideboard. I took deep breath, focused on pitcher. It was nothing he assessed. Room alphas do that. Dinner began. Conversation, carried, constructed lightness. Not real. Quiet laughter. Comments. Travel. Weather. Mountains. Harvests. Roads. Safe subjects. But beneath every sentence calculation, every pause deliberate, every topic change elegant. Test. Lady Seraphina steered with ease of lifetime at such tables, small interventions redirecting when close to dangerous. Your Majesty, she said, lifting glass elegant, I heard your kingdom thriving. Shadowvale grows stronger every season. My people loyal, Ronan replied, voice carried. No need assert silence, adjusted naturally. Lady Seraphina, inclined head loyalty, rare, especially times of change, took small sip, gaze sharp. I imagine that's why well-chosen alliance is important. Ronan did not answer right away, lifted glass, drank, then turned eyes back. That is exactly why I intend to speak personally about this marriage. Lady Seraphina, not expect direct for brief instant something uncomfortable passed before smile returned. Of course we discuss calmly. Set glass leaned curiosity, and the ritual I heard what happened. Ronan looked silence, brief, heavy. I do not want to discuss it. Lady Seraphina arched brows, polite tone understandable even so. I admit never great admirer of that tradition, especially now houses about to join. Golden eyes of Ronan turned colder. Pack rituals and laws not up for discussion, reply landed like stone. Lady Seraphina held gaze second, longer inclined. Head accepted boundary conversation. Continued shifted subject as always. But something in the moss. Air changed quiet tension like embers under ash. I was called to circulate when glasses emptied. Left sideboard pitcher began left side table as taught. Moved silently between chairs. Filling one then another. Guests' eyes passed without seeing until reached Ronan's place. I knew I would. Spent dinner preparing. Like crossing thin ice, I was made. Serving wine. Nothing more tipped. Pitcher wine flowed. Dark, silent stream. Ronan's hand rested. Table beside goblet. Relaxed fingers spread dark wood. I kept eyes on pitcher. Precise movement. Right angle. Not spill. Then he moved. Hand. Small adjustment. Casual, imperceptible. Now fingers closer. Close enough feel heat. Before touch I held breath. Do not look. Do not look, I did. Not finished pouring straightened pitcher, stepped toward next, only then realized held. Breath. Whole time. Heart beating inconvenient. Speed familiar. Past days. On other side table, one of Lady Seraphina's ladies whispered glanced toward me second. I did not see, but Lady Seraphina did. Dinner lasted another 2 hours. I made 4 rounds with pitcher 3 times when reached. Ronan's side felt his gaze before close enough confirm, not obvious stare. He always in conversation, answering question, playing distinguished guest. But something in golden eyes I could not ignore when caught. By accident, not casual look assessing server. It was recognition. Stop imagining things, one part of me said. Other stayed silent. And that silence disturbed most. On last round, Lady Seraphina intercepted discreet hand gesture, small movement meant enough you may go. I left hall empty pitcher feeling I stood in middle of something I did not fully understand. That night I could not sleep. Not only thought of him, it was dinner, tension, invisible current way he looked at people. Calm, attentive, and way look changed when landed on me. I turned side to side, closed eyes, entire dinner came back. Sound, glasses, candles, trembling, chandeliers middle all his presence. Eyes finding mine every time passed close. Not long look worse. Too brief yet seemed cut across hall straight to me. Stop. I opened eyes. Dark ceiling. You do not know him, but body did not agree. Body remembered. Heat caught breath. Nearness never quite happened, yet felt inevitable. I sat up, narrow cot room, dark, quiet, other maids asleep. I stood no particular destination, only knew staying, staring, ceiling torture, no longer willing endure. Grabbed shawl, opened door slowly, slipped out without sound, climbed narrow stone staircase to northern battlements. Most isolated stretch, far from guards, where I sometimes went for air silence, not watched. Night up there cold, clear, moon silver light making castle and forest below faintly unreal. I rested hands. Stone parapet, took deep breath, cold air filled lungs sharply bringing clarity. Mind spun circles all day, better closed eyes. Moment that was when I felt it presence, as if some part noticed before body I was no longer. Alone. I opened. Eyes turned around. Ronan there few yards away, leaning parapet opposite side, arms crossed, gaze toward dark forest line. He did not seem surprised, did not look just arrived, looked as if knew exactly where to find me. I went. Still, he turned head slowly toward me. I was wondering how long it would take, voice low, deep, dangerous, calm. I already beginning recognize. For what I asked for you to come to me. I frowned. I did not come to you, one corner mouth shifted, not exactly smile, no. Silence between us thickened. I have been coming here for years, I said more firmly. Long before you ever appeared at this castle. I did not say this place belonged to me. He pushed away from parapet slowly, movement small but completely changed. Distance. I said you would come, my heart beat harder. I could not sleep. I said flatly, that is all he studied me. Moment too closely, could not sleep. Or are you simply afraid of dreaming about me? I parted lips, stunned. How does he know that? I thought do not dream about you. I lied. Smile appeared small, slow, as if, answer, exactly confirmation expected. Wind moved between us. Lifting shawl slightly over shoulders he took. Step now, close enough. Feel again. Absurd thing, his body gave off heat, even in cold before dawn. Do you know what my wolf did on night of ritual? I raised chin. I heard it abandoned ceremony, whole pack saw it. Yes. Golden eyes fixed on mine because it felt you air seemed grow heavier. You were in trees. He continued, hidden watching. Something you were not meant to see. I did not answer. My wolf stopped. Everything he said. Lower now tried to come after you. Tilted head slightly. That has never happened before. My heart beating far too fast. You are mistaken. I am not. He took another step. Now only arms. Length separated us. I spent entire day trying to ignore this. Ronan continued council dinner. Politics eyes dropped briefly to my mouth before returning. It did not work. I felt heat rise through chest. I do not know what you are talking about. You do, he said. My name Elara. I went still. I asked who you were. After dinner, he said calmly. Silence that followed. Felt too full. You are my wolf's mate. Sentence fell between us direct, impossible to refuse. And what about agreement with Lady Seraphina? I said, voice. Sharper than intended. You came here to marry her. I came here to break that agreement. She will not accept it. No. He stepped half-pace closer. Now. Warmth too near. But that is tomorrow's problem. I did not step back. I should have, but I did. Not golden eyes. More golden, sharper. I am only servant, I said, firmly trying hold gaze. I am not wolf. I cannot be your mate. Ronan looked moment as though considering logic that is true. He said calmly. But destiny is not something to be questioned. Golden eyes remained. Locked. and I am going to take you with me. I took step back. I cannot go with you. Voice remained low, quiet certainty. And with each day you keep refusing this, it will get worse for you. I frowned. Worse. You will beg for me. I let out. Small, disbelieving laugh. I am not going anywhere with you. Not with man. Who takes part in rituals with other women. Different gleam in eyes. Are you jealous? No answer came too fast. One corner mouth curved slightly. Ritual only happens before alphas find mates, part of tradition. He took step now, too close before I could react. Hand found my waist firm, pulling little closer. My heart slammed against ribs for second, stood perfectly still, completely aware, heat of hand and absurd closeness, then pulled free all. At once turned, ran toward stairs. Ronan did not follow only, stood watching as I disappeared from battlement, then laughed softly. You are not going to run from me forever, Elara. I moved quickly across stone battlement, shawl clutched tight against chest without looking back, because looking back would have been end of whatever self-control I still had left. Ronan heard footsteps fading, stair door opening, closing. Then only wind and night around him kept looking at spot I had been. Moment I had almost stayed. I had been there close enough and almost stayed. He had seen in my eyes same recognition. Wolf inside felt for days. And then I had run for second time. Ronan passed hand over face, dear gods. Neither of us saw shadow retreat into stairwell as I ran past. Neither saw eyes that watched every word, every step, every second of conversation on battlement. Neither knew that night. Lady Seraphina received report before dawn, seated in oak chair, glass of wine, not drinking eyes, fixed candle flame as she listened. When report finished, remained silent. Moment you may go, she said at last. Shadow left. Lady Seraphina kept staring flame while longer. I was asleep when bedroom door opened. No knock door, simply opened. Candlelight entered, before person carrying it. Took me second. Wake fully. Another second recognize who stood in doorway, Lady Seraphina. Lady Seraphina in person at 2 in. Morning in maid's room. With candle, one hand, dark silk robe. Expression, someone unaccustomed making this kind visit, and unconcerned making obvious. Other maids woke one by one. Mira sat up abruptly, caught Lila opened, eyes went still, at once instinctively silence in room kind no one dared break. Lady Seraphina let gaze sweep room until found me, then stopped. Get up, she said, voice low, almost gentle. I had learned long ago Lady Seraphina's low, almost gentle voice, most dangerous version of her. I stood, remained beside cot, barefoot, cold stone hair, loose eyes, still heavy sleep waited. Lady Seraphina stepped into room, only one step more. Just enough door closed behind her, eyes moved over me, head to toe, calculated slowness itself, form humiliation. You know why I'm here, she said, not question yet. No, ma'am, lady. Seraphina tilted head slightly a lie, eyes did not change. I know. What happened on battlements tonight? I know what was said. I know what almost happened. Deliberate pause. And you are standing here thinking that means something for you. Room utterly silent. Mira stopped breathing. Lila sat rigid. Caught eyes fixed Lady Seraphina expression. Someone wants. Say something. Understands. Cannot. Lady Seraphina did not look at either. Kept eyes on me. Let me explain what it means. She continued, voice still low, still almost gentle. Our orphaned servant. You were 8 years old when you came. Here. You have no name that matters. There is no one who will ask where you are. If you simply are no longer here. Took another step slowly, as though time itself belonged to her as well. You went up to. Battlements tonight stood beside him, and thought what Lady Seraphina's eyes traveled over me. Head to toe. Slowness. Not assessment, but demolition. That he saw you. That it meant something silence. Not invitation. It was trap he did not see. You voice stayed low. Stayed almost gentle men like him do. Not see women like you. You are ground. He walks on. You are stone. He does not notice you are. Hand that dusts table while his eyes fixed on something else. Small paws you could scrub these floors on knees for. 40 years and he would never know your name. That is only place that exists for you in this castle. And somehow you forgot that cold of stone climbed through my feet, up ankles into legs, and I did not move that he may have had moment of. Lady Seraphina made faintest motion free hand as if brushing. Away fly generosity or boredom, or whatever it was you mistook for attention, does not change what you are. Eyes met mine, stayed unblinking. You are going to take your things, Lady Seraphina said, and you are going to leave this castle now. Now small pause, or I will make sure you do not leave at all. Eyes held mine. Choose then, Lady Seraphina. Slowly turned head toward Mira and Lila. They still frozen on cots. Both wore particular expression fear. Belongs to people witnessing something they should not. Witnessing and knowing it as for two of you, Lady Seraphina's voice did not rise, remained same, low soft tone, which made even more effective if I hear single word leaves this room about what was said here. Tonight paused, letting silence do work for her dungeon. Empty for some time. It would be shame to waste it. Mira went pale. Lila looked down floor. No one said word. Lady Seraphina turned eyes back to me. Satisfied with silence, waited. Get my things. I said. Lady Seraphina looked one moment longer, evaluating, confirming, then turned left room without another word, taking candle, leaving everything in darkness. Silence that remained different. Heavier. Lila first to move, slipped off cot without sound, crossed. Dark room to me, hugged quickly, tightly strength far out, proportion to size. I had not expected precisely what made hardest thing to bear. You did nothing wrong, Lila whispered. I stood still, second inside embrace, then gently pulled away, because if stayed another moment something would happen. I could not allow. Take care of yourself, I said. Lila said nothing, tears on face. Not trying hide and somehow harder face than everything. Lady Seraphina said I picked small bundle from beneath cot few. Things truly mine went to door, did not look back. If I had, I would not have been able to leave road from castle dark and long. I walked bundle, tucked arm feet, shoved into worn shoes, put on hurry, castle gate falling behind, stone road turning, dirt trees either side slowly closing in. You have no family. You have no name that matters. There is no one who will ask where you are. I remembered Lady Seraphina's words I had known for years. But hearing said like that, in that voice, in that room in front of, Lila and Mira made truth settle differently. Weight I could still feel on shoulders. You were 8 years old when you came here. I remembered, child. I had been delivered to Lady Seraphina's castle with very little explanation, only that parents died, no one left castle needed maids, and I needed somewhere to go. Where am I going? That question I avoided ever since leaving castle. Honest answer, I did not know there was village, few leagues away. There might be chance finding work at inn and kitchen. Somewhere needed, someone willing work. Without asking questions, I tightened grip bundle against chest. Kept walking few hours earlier. On other side castle, Ronan had asked for private meeting with Lady Seraphina. When finally, alone silence. Between them hung like stone. Lady Seraphina walked slowly to table, pouring wine into 2 glasses calm. Of someone used every gesture by time movements. Precise, controlled, so she said with smile. Did not reach eyes. I imagine you came to confirm our union. Ronan did. Not touch glass. I came to cancel it. Smile vanished. Few seconds. Lady Seraphina simply stared as if heard something. Mind refused. Accept. Cancel it. She repeated slowly. Word leaving mouth like something had to examine before accepting weight. The agreement between our kingdoms, my wolf chose someone else. Eyes hardened. That servant girl word came out like poison. Short, precise. She is not just servant girl, Ronan replied. Lady Seraphina laughed. No humor in sound. Carried sharp edge of woman holding too much. together with too much effort beginning let spill through cracks. A human who scrubs floors of my castle, she said. Every word enunciated clarity. Someone making certain understood made Alpha King of Shadowvale abandon sacred ritual and break. Agreement between kingdoms took few steps toward him. Do you understand what you are doing? Kingdoms expecting this union. My people expecting it. Your arrival here taken as confirmation you moved too quickly in your assumptions. I moved too quickly, Lady Seraphina. Stopped few feet from him. Something in eyes went beyond wounded pride. Cold calculation. Someone rapidly rearranging possibilities in front. Do you know what it means for me to be rejected like this? What my kingdom will say when learns Alpha. King cast me aside for nameless servant with no family. The what? Your kingdom says is your matter to resolve, Ronan said, voice perfectly mild. What my wolf recognized is not negotiable silence that followed different from one's before. Tighter, more dangerous lady. Seraphina turned slowly, walked to window, stood looking out courtyard below. Moment when spoke again. Voice changed lower, quieter for that very reason. More frightening than I hope, she said without turning around, that you understand what you are risking. Deliberate pause, because if that girl disappears, no one will ever prove anything. Aaron room stopped. Ronan did not move, but something in him changed. Subtle difference between man sitting chair and predator. Just heard threat. He raised head slowly. If she disappears, he said, voice so low. Lady Seraphina had to resist urge, step away from window. I will tear this castle down stone by stone. No emotion, no visible anger, only cold. Absolute statement of someone not making threat but describing certainty. Lady Seraphina kept back to him moment longer than comfortable, then turned around. Smile back in place. What an interesting conversation, she said. I'll have your room prepared for one more day, Ronan stood. That won't be necessary. We leave at first light. Left room without waiting. Answer returned to chambers but did not sleep. Sky still dark when Ronan woke. Not sound, not movement. It was absence. Wolf inside reacted at once. Ronan got up, pulled on tunic haste. Crossed room, long strides went down. Castle stairs. Barely awareness. Own movements mind already. Several steps ahead. Body is tested. Air. Every corridor. Every passage. Every stone archway. Nothing. My absence too clear. I was not in castle. By time reached courtyard. Sky beginning pale at horizon first. Gray light morning touched. Battlements air cold still. Far too empty for feeling growing inside chest. Ronan stopped. Middle courtyard inhaled deeply there. Faint, mixed scent. Wet earth. Damp wood but unmistakable. I had passed through there. Turned head toward main gate. I left, thought came clear. Final for one moment. Jaw clenched hard. I ran. Or eyes narrowed slightly. Lady Seraphina. Perhaps she decided test limits. Perhaps sent me away. Middle night believing would solve problem quietly, elegantly if that. Is what happened thought remained unfinished, because answer already taken shape, before even finished thinking it. She will pay for it. Or maybe not. Lady Seraphina. Perhaps I had simply been afraid. Perhaps believed running would solve something. Ronan let out short breath. Wolf inside already on feet, alert. Furious at growing distance between us, turned without hesitation stables. Silent at that hour, horses already restless at arrival. Before doors even fully opened, Ronan walked straight to first animal. Strong enough, for long rode untied reins. Saddled horse with quick, precise movements when finished, mounted without stopping. Think twice. I left alone in middle night on foot. He thought Ronan pulled on reins. Golden eyes fixed on castle gate. As quiet, dangerous certainty settled inside him. Enough nudged. Horse forward. I'm going after her. Words came out low, almost like thoughts spoken aloud. And there is nothing in this castle, and no one who will stop me. Horse shot down road as gate opened in my trail. That scent, his wolf memorized since night in clearing, carried through morning wind in thin, persistent threads, guiding him into forest. I had not gone far. Not yet he turned horse onto road. Rode on without looking back at gates disappearing. Behind, without thinking about counselors who would wake find. Room empty. Forest closed in both sides road. My trail grew little stronger. I was ahead of him alone in darkness with small, bundle-worn shoes and that quiet, steady anger he had seen in my eyes on. Battlements, anger of someone who does not bend easily. I heard horse. Before I saw it, I stopped. Middle road stood perfectly still. Intuition told me with inconvenient, absolute clarity. I knew exactly who coming down that road horse drew nearer. Ronan dismounted, walked toward me with deliberate calm. I, already learned, recognize as one defining traits. Unhurried, no visible urgency, as though had all time in world golden eyes met mine. One corner mouth shifted slightly. Not full smile, just beginning one U. Always run, he said. Voice not loud nor harsh but dangerous. Calm as if been chasing me all night. Finally stopped pretending patient. I did not answer, only looked at him. Wind along road, lifted few loose strands. Hair for moment, neither spoke. Silence felt too full. Ronan stepped closer. I need you to trust. Me? Elara? I kept, gaze lowered. Why did you leave? He continued, voice softer. Now please say something. I tightened fingers, fabric dress, then lowered head because I'm just servant. Words came out almost. Whisper. I'm not Wolf. I can't be your mate. Ronan looked moment, then slowly shook head. You are far more than that. I did not answer. Why did you leave? He insisted. Did Lady Seraphina send you away? Or do you really not want me? I raised. Eyes, I don't want you a lie. I felt word cut through. Chest. Before even finished saying it. It is better to lie better than getting tangled in something could end with me dead, or put other maids still in castle at risk. Ronan studied moment, then took small step toward me. I don't believe you. I drew in deep breath. Please let me go. I can't answer, came instantly. No matter what happened, I can protect you. I let out small, humorless laugh. I am nothing to you. Golden eyes sharpened. You are simply everything. To me, words hung between us before I could answer. Ronan leaned in. Kiss came firm. Unexpected. I tried. Resist second, but body betrayed. Hands found chest instead. Pushing away ended up pulling closer. Kiss deepened. Heavy with all tension. Building with everything neither. Managed. Say since night ritual. When pulled apart, breathing unsteady, I opened eyes slowly. You were right. Ronan frowned faintly about what I let out. Small breath, my body begs for you. Ronan gave low laugh. Elara, I dream about you every night. Eyes remained fixed on mine. And I know you dream about me too. Moved little closer, and as long as you keep denying bond between mates, it's only going to get worse for both of us. Silence returned, hotter, now heavier. I need you to trust me, he said again for a moment. I only looked at him, then grabbed tunic, kissed him again, this time without hesitation. When broke apart, I still standing far too close. Why do you think your wolf recognized me if I'm only human? Ronan brushed hand slowly over my face. I'm looking for that. Answer took deep breath. My counsel is too. Then you don't know. Not yet. Golden eyes turned serious again. Now tell me. Truth tilted head slightly. You don't want me, or was it Lady Seraphina? I stayed silent moment, then sighed. It was Lady Seraphina. Voice came out softer now, but I'm afraid for other maids. Don't worry about that, Ronan said at once. I'll take care of everything. I looked at him, moment silence that followed, different from all others before it. Ronan said, nothing moment. Only looked at me with quiet, absolute attention. I know you're afraid, he said, voice low. Not of what I am, of what this means. I did not answer right away. kept looking at him with eyes carrying weight of everything happened. "What does it mean?" I asked softly. "That you won't be able to keep pretending you don't want me anymore." Silence returned warmer. This time I slid hand slowly across chest, just leaving it there. Fingers spread over fabric as if checking something I needed, confirm by touch, then pulled. It was not gentle. Fingers closed around collar. Yanked him down, and before he had time say anything, I was up on toes. Mouth found his Ronan. Made low sound against lips. Surprise. Satisfaction both at once. Hands went to waist with firmness held. No hesitation pulling. Closer. Before reason had any chance weigh in. I came without resistance. Came with particular surrender of someone stopped fighting myself. And he discovered in that instant it was most devastating thing he ever felt. Forest closed around us. He stopped. Looked at me second. Only second. Just long enough. Confirm I really here. Not running. And there was something in golden eyes. Not Alpha King. Not authority. Not anything I learned. Fear. It was only man looking at one person who made wolf inside him halt. Entire ritual. And then kissed me again. Heat rising through chest before spreading outward. Moss soft beneath my back. Warmth of him impossible fight. Hands learned shape of shoulders. Mouth learned my throat. There was one exact spot just beneath collarbone where lips lingered second longer than necessary. Sound escaped me. Involuntary and did not regret itself. Silence that followed kind. Held no emptiness. I was lying with head on his chest, breathing slowly, returning eyes closed against light begun. Grow in canopy above, while world kept moving on, without either paying any attention, arm around my shoulders. Firm still do, you still want to run, he asked, voice rougher, now more rested. I was silent, moment. No, I said, that was all but that. Single word carried everything it had cost me. Say it. And he heard every part. His hand moved in my hair, just small gesture. Fingers sliding through lightly. And we stayed like that, as light grew. Shadowvale appeared on horizon late that afternoon. I was on horse with him entire way back. And Lady Seraphina, I asked. I felt muscles in arm tighten slightly around me. I'll handle that main hall. Of Lady Seraphina's castle was quiet when Ronan entered. She was seated, posture flawless, hands folded face. Wearing mask, spent years constructing Ronan. Did not sit, Lady Seraphina, your majesty. Voice perfect, controlled. I imagine you have come. You sent my maid away, he said. Not accusation. It was confirmation. Lady Seraphina held gaze. I made decision I believed necessary for you. Interfered with maid of Alpha King, Ronan said. Voice cutting across hers. Kind, calm, always more dangerous than any raised volume law of pack existed long enough. For you know what that means. Silence settled over room. Had weight I could kill. You for it, he said. You know that Lady Seraphina did not blink, but mask on face tightened ever so slightly. I won't pause, not because law does not allow it, because Elara does not want it. Golden eyes stayed fixed on hers, and what she wants matters to me more than anything you could offer or threaten. Lady Seraphina remained still, but you will lose, he continued, in tone of someone not announcing punishment, only describing reality already decided right to negotiate with any kingdom allied to Shadowvale. Without my approval, 2 border territories which will, to be placed under neutral administration and protection of Shadowvale's swords, that our agreement guaranteed something you needed more than I did, and we both know it. Let silence stand moment, men of Shadowvale will remain assigned to this castle, not to protect you, so that I know everything that happens here. Lady Seraphina looked at him with unreadable eyes. Is that all she asked? That is mercy, Ronan said. Because it is what I asked for. She looked at him long moment. Understood, she said at last. Ronan inclined head. Smallest gesture of someone ending conversation, turned to leave. I was in courtyard when Lila came running. Hug far too fierce for someone her size. I stood still. Second inside it, I knew. It? Lila said. Against shoulder. I knew it would work out. You knew nothing. I knew everything. Mira appeared behind, wearing expression, someone very clearly trying look as though had not been crying, failing completely. So it's true, Mira said. You're leaving with him. I am Mira. Crossed arms and us. I looked at two of them, Lila with eyes still shining, Mira trying, seem indifferent with steadily less success. You're coming with me, I said. Lila's mouth fell open. You'll be my ladies in waiting. I said if you want. To silence. Lasted 2 seconds. Lila hugged both again, this time with twice force, and Mira decided at that moment there was absolutely nothing wrong with crying later. When Ronan found me in corridor, and I told him what I had done, he simply looked at me. You want your friends as your ladies in waiting. Yes. All right. I blinked just like that. I told you that you would have everything you want. He said exactly way you wanted. I looked at him second, Ronan Elara. You do know that when you say things like, that I said in voice, tried sound dry and did not entirely succeed, it becomes very hard to keep pretending I don't like you. Smile that spread across face was slow. The mating ritual took place on first night in Shadowvale. There was no crowd, no bonfires, no drums. There was inner chamber of castle, ancient stone candles, silence of elders standing in semicircle with expressions of those who understand they are witnessing something. Does not happen twice. Ronan stood before me. Eyes met mine. Are you going? To run? He asked, voice low. Only for me. Corner of my mouth shifted not. This time, eldest elder spoke words. I did not fully understand language, but weight of every syllable reached my bones in way, needed no translation. There was something there, more than ceremony. It was recognition when words ended. Silence had changed. Ronan lifted hand, slowly moved my hair away from shoulder gesture of someone who understood weight of what he was about to do, and felt no need rush to it faster than necessary fingers. Traced curve of my neck with attention, made air catch in my throat. Eyes met mine one last time. I nodded, lowered head bite, came with pain. Not what I expected came like wave, starting at point of contact, radiating outward in every direction, all at once, through chest, arms, spine, all way to fingertips, as if every part of my body being rewritten at once from inside out, in ink that had not existed before, and inside that pain there was something else. Bond tangible, as real as floor beneath feet thread of lane. Heat that established itself between me and him with solidity of something weighted to exist for far longer than either of us had been alive. I felt his wolf legs gave out without warning. I felt his arms before I even realized I was falling. They closed around me with firm steadiness. Did not squeeze, but did not let go either, holding my weight with ease that in any other moment I would have commented on. I've got you, he said, voice close, very close, warmth everywhere and thread between us pulsed soft, steady. Like second heartbeat, I let darkness come. I woke to golden sunlight, stared at hands, something different, not visible, not obvious, but it was there. New awareness of space around me, of air, of sound, of footsteps in corridor outside which I could hear with clarity slightly unsettling, too clear to be normal. I blinked. Ronan was in chair beside bed, not asleep, just there, elbows on knees with expression of someone stayed awake all night and did not regret it. Good morning, he said, voice rougher than usual. How long? I asked. All night I touched shoulder with 2 fingers, felt mark faint, already healed as if closed. Far too quickly to be natural. You seem different. I said you do too. What happened to me? I asked. At last, when you bit me, I felt. Something I felt it too, Ronan said. Wolf felt you in return. He looked at him. Is that normal? He was silent. Moment. No, he said. Simply counselors gathered when Ronan entered council chamber. Eldrick stood before Ronan could sit down. There was something on Elder's face. Not exactly concern. It was particular expression of someone just discovered. Something changes every calculation at once. Your Majesty Eldrick chose words with care of someone weighing them before speaking. Elders spent night analyzing ritual, and Kale leaned slightly forward bond between mates well. Known everyone here understands it. But what happened last night was not only mating ritual pause. Intensity of my reaction. Way I felt wolf before I fainted. Speed with which Mark healed clarity of aura I. Left in chamber, Eldrick continued. We believe I may be dormant wolf. Silence that followed carried considerable weight. Dormant Ronan repeated someone with shifter blood who for some reason never awakened. Eldrick said, with careful restraint of, someone does not want claim more than can be confirmed. Aura. I carry your majesty is not human. I am powerful, KL said in way. We are still trying measure silence stretched on, and there is more, Eldrick said, in tone of someone saving most important part for last. Ronan looked at him. You are stronger this morning, Elder said. We felt it. Moment you entered this room. Alpha. Aura. Denser. More present a pause. I completed you in way. None of us expected you became stronger with me. Room went completely still. Ronan looked at table moment. Keep investigating my past, he said at last. Who my parents were. How I came to Lady Seraphina's castle. Everything that exists to find. Eldrick nodded. We've already begun. And when you find something, Ronan stood. You come to me first left. Through corridor stopped second beside window. Overlooking inner garden wolf inside him was calm. Calmer than had been in years. That constant restlessness search he had not always been able. Name had settled with solidity of something found. Where it belonged I was in garden when he found me sitting on lawn. Stone bench with morning sun in hair. Ronan sat beside without saying word. We stayed like that moment. Counselors told me you became stronger, I said without opening eyes. It's true because of you, he spent moment looking at me at face. Lit by sunlight at mark. On shoulder. Visible at edge of dress. I told you, he began, that you were not just servant. And even if you were, he continued. Voice low, direct, honest. I would not care. I held my breath. I do not care about your past. Eyes stayed on mine, I do not. Care if you are servant, if you are wolf, if you are human, if name you carry not considered good enough by any court in this kingdom. Leaned in slightly. What matters to me is your essence. What you are, when you are not trying. Make yourself invisible. Small pause. I looked at him. Woman who asked for mercy for someone who did not deserve it. Who wanted friends close before wanting anything else for herself. Sun was warm on shoulders. Mark on. Shoulder pulsed softly once, as it always did. Now I love you, he said. More than anything that exists in this kingdom. Garden went quiet around us. I lifted hand to his face, slowly, fingers tracing line of jaw, corner of mouth with attention of someone learned there. Was time now and no need. Hurry. I love you too, I said. Smile that appeared on face was fullest I had ever seen. You know, as I'm sitting here in New York City with the city that never sleeps outside my window, I can't help but feel every beat of Elara's heart like it's my own. If you ever found yourself in a situation where the most powerful person in the room saw you when no one else did, what would you do? Would you run like she did at first? Or let the bond pull you closer? I think if it was me, I would have done the same thing. Run first, because fear is loud but destiny is louder, and staying hidden only makes the chase sweeter when the right one finds you. If you were in Elara's shoes, feeling the cold stone under bare feet and the weight of being called nobody, while your heart raced for someone who saw straight through you, you might wonder if anyone would ever fight for you the way Ronan did, and that's the part that gets me every time. Because in a world that tries to make us small, sometimes the greatest gift is someone who refuses to let you stay invisible. After that dream where his touch felt so real, I think if it was me waking up in my New York apartment with the memory still burning on my skin, I would have journaled every detail right then, because ignoring a pull like that only builds the tension until it breaks, and sometimes breaking is exactly what you need to begin. When Lady Seraphina stood in that room, tearing down every piece of Elara's worth with words soft as silk but sharp as knives. If you ever had someone remind you of your place like that, making you feel the ground you walk on is all you'll ever deserve, you know, the ache that follows, and yet, Elara still chose to walk out with her head high, and that's the kind of quiet strength I admire most, because walking away with dignity is its own kind of power. At the moment in the forest when the bond finally won and the kiss turned into something deeper, something that rewrote them both. If you were caught in that kind of heat, where fear and desire fight until desire wins, you might feel the same way, your body betraying every reason your mind tried to build. And that's okay, because sometimes the body knows the truth before the heart catches up. This teaches us that true connection doesn't wait for perfect timing or perfect status, and the mistake most people make is letting fear of what others will say keep them from claiming what destiny already marked as theirs for you. Watching in the US take action today. Reach out to that person. Who's been on your mind or journal? One thing your inner voice has been whispering about your own path. Ask yourself, am I running from something that could change everything for the better? Comment 1 if you think Elara did the right thing by trusting the bond, despite the risks and running at first but eventually embracing it. Comment 2 if you think Lady Seraphina should have been forgiven faster, or if the consequences were fair. Comment 3 if you have ever been in a situation where you felt like an invisible servant in your own life but someone saw your true potential. Comment right below you are watching from where city or country, and what time is it right now. I really love reading your comments from all over the world. This story is created solely for educational and informational purposes. It is intended to offer relationship insight and awareness, not to target or identify any specific individual. The events and characters presented are entirely fictional, designed for both entertainment and learning. Subscribe and hit the bell to never miss a new story. Join our community of romance lovers in the comments. I love hearing your thoughts and recommendations.